I know. Yes, I'm wearing it. I don't care, okay? Because I realized earlier today that this moment right here, Sam Darnold in the locker room after beating the Packers, it's the last time that I was happy, and it's probably the last time that I'm going to be happy for a while. So I'm gonna embrace it for the show tonight. I gotta channel that energy. Hi, everyone. I'm Sally. This is my Vikings fan lifestyle podcast, Skoldiers Spice. And boy, do we have a lot to work through as Vikings fans this week. Tonight, I'm going to share with you my experience traveling to Arizona for the Vikings-Rams game. And also going to walk through some emotions that I am feeling this Wednesday evening. I will say that I'm definitely better than yesterday. I have not cried yet today, so I'm hoping that I can get through this show without crying. I feel much less vulnerable than I did yesterday, so I'm feeling good about that. But we are gonna walk through the emotions that I'm experiencing. You may be experiencing some of the same. I haven't really found anyone so far yet that I can really relate to as far as where I'm at right now. But then again, I haven't really talked to very many people about it. So pretty much all I've expressed is my emotional breakdowns on TikTok or Twitter that you may have seen. But yeah, if it's your first time tuning in to Skoldiers Spice, welcome. We are going to be working through some emotions tonight because I'm an emotional gal. Let's start out here. Last Thursday, we found out that the Vikings game was going to be moved from Los Angeles to Arizona Cardinal Stadium because of the wildfires. And I didn't really know if I thought that would really happen or not, but I decided to get on Delta and book myself a flight for Monday. It was a Monday night game. How could I forget? My favorite. For that Monday, because I wanted to be able to go if that did happen. I usually travel to Vikings games at least once a year, and this year I did not go to one. And I knew that the prices would be substantially less than what I was looking at in LA because it would be last minute. Going into last week, I was very down about the Detroit game. It caught me by surprise that they weren't even competitive in the Detroit game. Foreshadowing, anyone. They weren't even competitive. And I really thought, wow, is Sam Darnold going to be able to shake this off? I was concerned. I had lost a lot of confidence. However, when they decided to move the game, I got excited. And I hope that I don't want this to come across wrong because what's going on in California is absolutely devastating. And I feel so bad for all of the people affected by that. So I feel kind of guilty when I'm talking about it, like, oh my gosh, it was this great opportunity for me because all these people are going through a terrible situation. And that is absolutely not my intention here. So let's get that straight before we go much further. I also thought, okay, well, this is going to be more neutral ground now. And maybe this is going to be to the Vikings' advantage because we're obviously going to have more fans in attendance than we probably were otherwise. So many people in Minnesota are snowbirds in Arizona or, just travel there often. I had actually never traveled there until this past Monday. So it was my first time, but I feel like everyone is going there all the time. So I knew there was going to be a huge turnout, and why wouldn't people want to go and get the hell out of here when it's like -5 degrees, right? So I was feeling good that we would have a good fan base there. And I was also thinking, well, these players and coaches in LA, they have so much going on. And maybe the distractions and whatever, maybe this is going to be closer than I had anticipated earlier in the week before the game was moved. Well, we see how that went. But I was excited to go. I pulled it all together at the last minute and I flew out there. My flight Monday morning, I didn't go to sleep the night before because my flight left at like 6 a.m. And so it was, what's the point? I'm a night owl. I didn't go to bed, and I just rolled right into the next day. And my flight, it was great energy on the flight. It was so many Vikings fans on there, and we were just all in a great mood. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but Kevin Seifert from ESPN was posting that Delta had flags. Delta had towels on all the seats, Vikings towels, and that when they got to their gate, there was purple and yellow balloons and welcoming all the Vikings fans. I did not have that the next morning at 6 a.m. on my Delta flight, so maybe it was just for that one on the night before, but that just makes a statement about how many people were traveling, right? So my friend Jason, you might know him. He's been on my show a couple of times. He's also on Twitter. He lives in Arizona. And so somehow the Cardinals got in touch with him, called him, and offered him a suite at a really good deal. And so he took them up on their offer. And so he invited me to sit with them, which was awesome. So I'm really looking forward to this experience, right? I get there to Arizona, get my rental car, and I'm driving to Glendale. And well, I got there pretty early. And then by my surprise, I realized when I get to my hotel, wait a second, I don't think this is right across from the stadium where I thought I booked my Holiday Inn. No, I was actually in Surprise, Arizona at their Holiday Inn. Still have no clue how I messed that up. I have no idea how I messed that up, but that ended up meaning that I was about like 25 minutes away from all of the action. And so that was obviously not ideal, but hey, I made it work. I went down and met Jason for lunch near the stadium, and it's in the Westgate shops. And I could already see, this was pretty early, like maybe like 11:30, 12, and they were already like a lot of Vikings fans gathering, and I could see that there were balloons and stuff. Westgate was this really cool area where it's almost like, I don't necessarily know how to describe it, but almost like an outdoor mall, but with a lot of like bars and restaurants and shops. And it's kind of one of those places where you just like bounce around from place to place. There's a lot of different things to do. I've seen similar places like that, like in Kansas City. I know that they have that, and I don't know. It's just like a downtown district sort of a thing where there's a ton to do. It's something that I would die for Minnesota to have. It's so embarrassing when people come here from out of town and there is nothing to do. I hate it. We really got to get that straight. Somebody, I think it was Jason, even said, "Why don't the Wilfs just like buy up a bunch of real estate downtown and turn it into one of these sorts of areas?" It's much needed. It's much needed, but I digress. Anyways, we're at this really cool area down there. And the Vikings were having an official party at 3 different bars down there. Tons of outside patio stuff going on. It was open air. The sun was out. Oh my God, the sun was out. I don't even know the last time the sun was out here. And so even though it wasn't like that warm, I mean, oh my God, it was great just to be outside. But yeah, we're down in this really cool area, and I don't even think I saw like one Rams fan anywhere. I met quite a few people from Twitter and people that watch and listen to the show, and that was really awesome. I don't know, I feel like that hasn't happened to me in a while, to be honest. I guess I haven't been traveling. I haven't had a business trip. It's been a while since I've taken a business trip. So went to a couple different spots down there. End up going into the stadium. The suite was super cool. We had all this food, all these awesome people that were there, and everyone was excited. But I did realize when we got into the stadium, so before in the pregame festivities, I did not see any Rams fans, none. And it wasn't just because I was sticking with my people. I was walking around this downtown area and I wasn't seeing any. So I was pretty surprised when we got in there that there were quite a few. And it was hard for me to necessarily tell from where I was sitting. Hard to make out maybe the percentages of what was what. But I will say this is the first game that I've ever been to where it seemed like there was a very clear division from home side and visitor side. Obviously, when you travel to games out of town to follow your team, It's always nice if you can sit on your visitor sideline. That's always great if you can do it. But for me, it's not a priority. I'm trying to get the best ticket, the best view for the best price. So I feel like normally in experiences like that, it's a pretty much a mixed bag. There might be more on one side, but it's not like a complete division. With that game on Monday night, I felt like it was really obvious. Like it was blue on this side and purple on this side, which was kind of a cool thing. But thankfully, I was on the purple side. But because of that, I don't really know what was going on over there. I can tell you that it did sound really loud. But I wonder what it would have sounded like if I was on the other side without that sound coming back, because I was impressed with how loud it was in there given the circumstances of there being a lot of visitors here. There's a lot of people that traveled. I don't think that thing was sold out. Like it wasn't a full stadium, although it was close, but anyway, that's later down the road talking about the sound, but yeah, so it was a lot more blue in there than I had anticipated because I just didn't see them in the pregame. Allie wanted to join us. Yeah, I don't know what those Rams fans were doing before the game. Like, where were they hanging out? I don't know. I thought that was kind of strange that they just all of a sudden were there, but good for them. I'm glad that they did. A lot of them were able to make the trip. We get to the game and we're sitting in the suite. Jason says that I can sit in the front row, which, oh my gosh, blew my mind. I was surprised. Well, I guess we'll kind of get into that later, but there's no like barrier or glass or anything. You can just literally dangle off of it if you want to, which I certainly did consider later on in the evening. Felt like it just took forever for the game to start. I think we were all just so excited and so much anticipation leading up to the game in general. I think with everything that was going on all week, we were kind of losing sight of, I kept having to like pinch myself and be like, you're here, you're doing all this for a Vikings playoff game. You're going to Arizona to sit in a suite for a Vikings playoff game in 2024. I mean, 2025, but you know what I mean. 2024 season. What? And how lucky are you? And holy shit, like how does this happen, right? How does this happen? And so all of that was going on before and all the venue change and all of that, it's like I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, it's all kind of hitting me that this is about to happen. And we're so excited. And just feeling great about it. The game finally starts and obviously Matt Stafford and company marched right down the field. Yuck. Marched right down the field and they scored with ease. I really wasn't nervous about that. I thought, well, the Vikes are getting the ball. They're going to bounce back. And it was a 3-and-out with Sam Darnold taking a sack for a big loss. I have not rewatched the game. I have not rewatched so much as a highlight of the game. Except for later when I was out and it was the only thing on TV over and over and over. I haven't went back and watched anything. So I don't remember how many yards that first one was, but it was a lot. It was a lot. I think it was like 20 yards that he lost there. And they were in a terrible spot in the field. Like I said, 3-and-out, they had just gotten the ball. And that pretty much just set the tone for the rest of the night. I don't really want to get too much into the game because there's really, what is there to say? It doesn't matter anymore. It's the off season officially. First ever off-season episode of Skoldiers and Spice. Certainly didn't think it was coming this week, but here we are. Anyone who's ever traveled to see this team and they perform like that, it's frustrating. It's hard. It makes you question what the hell did I do all this for? It was brutal just seeing Sam take hit after hit and not get rid of the ball and just this total ineptitude, really, on offense. And it just never got better. That's the thing. It just never got better. You thought, okay, well, they're getting the ball after the half. maybe something will happen. The most exciting thing that happened the entire game was when Matt Stafford had his turnover that they argued was actually an incomplete pass, and somehow the league overturned it and said it was an incomplete pass. That moment between us seeing it all happen, thinking that Blake Cashman had scored, and now we're going to have a chance to tie this game up, exhilaration. That was quickly taken away, obviously. And then I think it kind of set in like, oh my God. I still haven't watched that play back, and I don't even know what the league's official statement was on it, but it doesn't make sense to me. And now, would that have mattered? Who knows? But it certainly could have been a momentum shift, and maybe it would have changed how the Rams were approaching the offense because they wouldn't have had this lead anymore. Maybe they would have ran the ball a little bit more. Who knows? But all I know is that the momentum certainly would have been different. So that was unfortunate. That was the only celebration that we had. And it was short-lived. Just processing everything. I'm battling myself quite a bit. I'm having a lot of inner dialogues and discussions with myself because I have a lot of emotions and they are not necessarily logical. I just have a lot of conflicting thoughts and still sorting them all out. So if you be kind. If you're going to comment, be kind, okay? Because I know people are not. I don't know. I feel like I'm on an island again. I've been this way for a while. The last few years have been this way. I am taking this one really hard, and it's surprising to me for a few reasons. The last time I felt like this was 2017. That was really tough. I had bought into this is like a destiny type of thing. The Vikings had the opportunity to be the first home Super Bowl team ever. Wow, we went through all of this as Vikings fans because we're for this moment. And so then to see them come out and play how they did against Philadelphia in the NFC Championship, where it's not even competitive, it was brutal. And I know I felt really down about that. I don't remember for how long or any of those details, but I know it was bad. Then obviously we had Kirk Cousins and that whole situation, which I was never thrilled about. So that whole 6-year time, it was just different for me. I didn't feel as connected to the team or this, like, I don't know. It was weird for somebody who my entire life has been very emotionally attached to the Vikings, and their wins and losses weighed heavily on me. Now, is that a good thing? Not necessarily, but I was certainly missing that attachment during that time that I got back this season. And that felt good because it was like, okay, well, I'm not dead inside. I can still go there. Yeah, I got that back this season, and that was great. Obviously, now it feels like maybe not. Maybe it's something I wish that I still could have kept at arm's length. On the one hand, I thought that this team was going to win 6 games. And I've said that every game past that and all of the fun things that have happened were just like gifts. I wasn't expecting them. So that was awesome. And I thought going into this season, it's going to be just about the like fellowship of my friends and my tailgate. And I was very excited about this season actually, because I thought we're going to actually learn a lot about this team. And this is going to be about growth and building for the future. And that is something that I have wanted this team to be working towards for the last 6 years. And so even though I didn't think there was going to be a lot of wins, I was fine with that. And I was excited about that. And it's the most excited I've been in a long time. But that didn't happen. It ended up being a 14-win season, and so much fun. And oh my God, I'm getting emotional already. I'm about to cry. It certainly ended up being a lot different than I thought that it was going to be. You know, we had 4 home games in December. And I remember when that schedule came out in May, saying to my friends, well, you guys, it's going to be a long December for us. It's going to be a long December for us. We're going to be spending a lot of money on staying warm outside. And it's pretty much just going to be us hanging out. Instead, we have our last tailgate, beating the Packers to go into the playoffs. And it was a huge party. So it wasn't what I was expecting at all as far as that goes. And so I want to be grateful for those experiences that I didn't think I was going to get. But right now I'm just not there yet. I don't know why I don't know where this is coming from. I do know where it's coming from, but I didn't feel this way in the playoffs in 2022 at all. I was very disappointed that after a 13-3 season, they couldn't even pull off a wild card round win against Daniel Jones and the Giants. But I don't think I was hurt, really. I certainly didn't feel this way. Since 2017, my motto, well, I don't know if it started that early, but definitely after COVID, when we got our own tailgate spot and stuff, I adopted this mindset of, you know, I don't let the Vikings dictate my mood anymore because of all of the great things in my life that I have because of them. I have this tailgate and all of these friends, and I have this podcast, and I've met so many amazing people and had experiences that, you know, 13-year-old Sally would have fucking died over, you know, talking to Randy Moss. Are you kidding me? Like things like that. And so I got myself over the years to just laugh at the losses or laugh at the unfortunate things that happen and not let it dictate my mood. And I thought I did a really good job of that for a while. 2022 team, I never really believed that they were anything. I thought that they were pretty much a joke. Their record was fraudulent, and I knew they weren't going to go anywhere. For me, this is just a new situation. I always say that I would rather have low expectations and then be surpassed. That to me, I've always thought feels better than having high expectations and being disappointed. And I got that wish this year. I had my low expectations and they were defied and then some. And then I'm crushed right now. And I think it's because I started believing. I really did believe that while this isn't the best Vikings team we've ever seen, they were balanced. They were different. You know, those first 2 games that they lost, they were competitive. They didn't have these blowout, lopsided games like they had the last 2. And get to win 14 games as a wild card. Get a wild card with 14 wins. And all year long, it's debated, is Kevin O'Connell going to be coach of the year? He deserves to be coach of the year. Sam Darnold has this amazing season where he's in the MVP conversation that no one ever saw coming. And then it just the last 2 weeks, it's completely different. It's completely different. Instead, it's now Sam Darnold fucking sucks. And now Kevin O'Connell can't call a game, which that's not my opinion. That's what, you know, everyone else is saying. Kevin O'Connell has all these flaws. He's outcoached 2 weeks in a row. And it's such a dramatic drop from the way that we felt at the end of week 17 when Sam Darnold is being passed around the locker room, drenched with water, congratulated, celebrated after beating the Packers. And then to fall to the performances that we saw week 18 and on Monday, it just doesn't seem possible. I mean, look, it's crazy. It's crazy. The reason that I took it very poorly, you know, but let's go back to Monday night. I was crying. I was literally crying. And these poor Jason and these people in the suite, they've got to think I'm fucking nuts. They've got to think I'm fucking nuts. I mean, here I am, 38 years old crying over a football game in public. And I wish I could blame it on the alcohol, but it's genuinely how I'm feeling. I never envisioned that they would just lay an egg like this 2 weeks in a row with so much on the line. And I mean, look, I mean, 2 weeks ago, we're passing Sam Darnold around the locker room and guys are celebrating him, championing him, talking about what a leader he is and how everybody has his back. And you can't help but feel so happy for him and everything that he's been through. And, you know, other fan bases are like mocking us, like, oh, you're celebrating like a week 17 win. Like, what? And look at them. They were right. They were right, because nothing was the same ever since that moment. That moment that at the time I thought was so cool. You can't look at it that way anymore. I completely embraced the whole Sam Darnold thing. You know, I was only a few weeks ago, not going to repeat what I said right now, but most people know. And if they don't, then you can go ahead and look. Man, I just thought, and I know this is ridiculous, but I thought we've seen enough of a sample size to just see that Sam Darnold is fixed. But to be fair, everyone wants to say KOC is quarterback whisperer. He fixed him. So this is what we were believing all year long. And then to see that O'Connell couldn't hang with those guys. Sam Darnold certainly couldn't. And it just feels cruel. It was a new way to be disappointed. It's just, you know, it's ridiculous to be crying about. But I really feel like I just got an attachment to the locker room in some ways, you know, especially Sam Darnold and the story and how happy I've been for him. And it's weird that I said I've got a lot of conflicting things going on here. So I'm literally sorting it out loud right now. So I don't know. Maybe a lot of this isn't going to make sense. It's weird that now 2025 season is going to look like what I thought 2024 season was going to look like. And I, for some reason, am not excited about it. I was so excited about what I thought 2024 season was. But now pushing that off 1 year, I'm not excited about it. I really genuinely just feel like very heartbroken, and it's not that they lost. Of course, I would want them to win. But it's not that they lost. It's how they lost these last 2 games. It's how they lost. I feel like I was just sold a bill of goods in a way. If they would have played hard against the Rams on Monday night and they just came up short and the Rams were the better team, then okay, I could accept that. I'd be disappointed, but I certainly wouldn't be crying in the stadium. I certainly wouldn't be crying. I would be proud of them for putting up a fight and for getting to where they got. And I don't feel proud of them right now. This is all so ridiculous, because they don't give a fuck if I'm proud of them, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, the last 2 games were just so fucking bad. They were so bad. It just doesn't even feel like they belong there, you know? I feel really bad for Sam Darnold. I know that I can keep doing this. I know I can keep doing this. I can keep doing this for the rest of my life. Going through this. I can do it. But I'm questioning if I want to do it. And I know that people watching this are thinking, oh my God, I've been a fan for 60 years, 50 years, 100 years, whatever. This isn't that bad. And it's not, I guess, compared to the other things, it's not that bad. But I guess I'm just kind of like, well, I'm 38 years old. I'm 38 years old, and every trip that I ever go on is just related to this team. Like, everyone's like, oh my God, I want to go to London so bad. I don't. I don't want to go to London so bad. Everywhere I go, every trip I've ever taken is because of this team. Everything I do revolves around it, you know. Every extra dollar I have goes to going to the games or supplying the tailgate or fucking custom shirts of Sam Darnold in the locker room. It's like, maybe I should get some other hobbies and like do some other things. Some things that don't make me feel so shitty at the end. I know every single person out there is so fucking excited for JJ McCarthy. I know you guys are so excited, and I want to be so excited too. I really do. But I don't, I want to be so excited too, but you guys, I read the chats and I read the tweets and I read this and that. It's just like everybody acts like it's just such a sure thing. Like, JJ McCarthy is a sure thing. There is no doubt about it. This is what's going to change everything. And I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. So I don't want to sell myself another fucking bill of goods like I did this year and just all of a sudden believe that this is the Messiah that's going to change it all. I've done that too many times, you know? And I guess I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't want to be back in this place. I'm hoping that'll change. You know, do I want to be on here on YouTube right now crying about this? No, I know it's ridiculous. I'm doing it because I think it'll be cool if in 1 month, 2 months, 6 months or whatever, I feel differently and I can like compare that. Or also, I mean, fuck it. Like, I'm always real on the internet. So this is really me and really where I'm at. And I got a lot to work through here. But I hope that I'm wrong about, or not wrong. I mean, I don't know what I think about it. I don't have enough proof to know either way what I think about him. And no one really does, actually, either, if you want to be honest with yourself. I mean, on the bright side, I think at least we are not going to have this Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy debate all off season, which is good because that did get kind of ugly. But on the flip side, it certainly gives us something to talk about. So that's a little unfortunate. I think Sam is still going to get paid. Is he going to get paid what he was going to? No, but he'll obviously be fine and move on. And I hope he's successful elsewhere. I have therapy tomorrow, thank God. So maybe we can figure this out. I just can't even talk about Sam Darnold. I can't talk about him. What's that about? I guess if I'm thinking about it, like, so this is a shit that I can't say because people get mad at me. People get mad at me. And I truly don't understand why, because it's like people are upset with me for being emotionally attached to someone that I just saw win 14 games for my team, but they think it's totally normal to be so emotionally attached for someone that they've seen like make like 2 preseason snaps. I hope to God you people are right, but I don't know. I can't go there yet. I mean, I just went there with a guy that I saw 14 games of, and I was wrong, right? So I certainly am not going to be going there with somebody who I've seen play like 2 snaps in the preseason. Again, this is why I'm struggling with myself, because I literally have said I'm fine with them not being good because they're on the journey to hopefully having an open Super Bowl window, right? But I guess just 14 wins is fucking crazy. Like, why am I so emotionally invested in something that I have no control over? Why am I so sad about people I've never even met or talked to and never will? But I sat there until the bitter end. I watched the very last play. I actually was recording myself. I was doing a video talking about how I couldn't believe that Sam Darnold had 7 sacks, or was it 8? while and as I'm recording that, he gets his 9th sack. So that was great. But yep, I stayed there till the bitter end. I stayed there, pretty much shut the stadium down. Most people left early, and I just wallowed in my sadness. And then later I did go out and I had some fun, which again is something that if I were in Minneapolis, everything would be closed and I'd be alone. So that was cool, at least to be around other people. But like I've said, like I do feel like I'm out here on an island right now. I don't remember ever crying about anything this easily. So maybe I need to get my meds checked, but it's a weird place for me to be in because it is as fun as it is because I care so much. But caring so much has consequences as well. And I guess I'm just wondering at this point, like, what is this all for? I'm questioning everything right now because I just didn't think this is where I would be, I guess. So with that said, I hopefully am going to be able to turn this around a little bit. I've got, a whole lot of things that I can put to bed now. I can get my house organized. I can take these tinsels out of my hair, which, God, they've been hanging on since September. It's just crazy. I don't know. What stage of grief am I in? Denial? Acceptance? I'm obviously not at acceptance yet. I'm not sure. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I know I'm a mess and I might not make a lot of sense to you or anyone. Sometimes, like I said, I'm not really even making sense to myself right now because all of the things that I was even believing, I now no longer believe. But I don't know. But am I crazy about that? Because what I just saw the last 2 weeks wasn't what I believed, right? So I don't know. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that next week I'll be feeling better. I do have some cool show ideas for the off season that I'm looking forward to putting together. And so stay tuned for more information on that. I can't even say that I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the playoffs, but yeah, this one hurt, guys. This one hurt me pretty badly. And I just didn't see it coming. So appreciate you all being here. We are going to blow out Sam Darnold for the last time. And SKOL, everybody. There's always next year.
Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And rate us on your favorite aggregator. And a big shout out goes to Sal and her guests on this Vikings First and SKOL production, partnered with the Fans First Sports Network. Thanks, everyone. And SKOL. This has been a Vikings First and SKOL production, part of the Fans First Sports Network.